You know my favorite stat.
That there's more germs on a phone than a toilet seat.
7 times more germs on a phone than your toilet seat.
Okay. Anyway, you guys get to see some of our hot takes. Love you, babe.
Love you too.
What's up, everybody? It's Kate.
And JJ.
And this is the season finale of our season on hot takes. Man, we have gone through so many hot takes. What was your favorite one from the season, JJ?
I think I love the 12-month one. Honestly, I don't know why that one jumped out. I mean, people really enjoyed that one.
What? Tell them more about that.
Well, I think everyone's always looking for a certain timeline. And if you have to give a timeline, we just happen to find that 12 months is a really good amount of time.
And some Christians want to do it way faster.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, I know it's controversial. I know it's a hot take, but after 12 months, I mean, you should know roughly if you want to marry someone after about 6, 8, 9 months.
Yeah.
If you're at 12 months and you don't know, man, that's your answer right there.
Totally. Well, my two favorites are that from the season were We're a single men crisis. We're all the single guys.
Yeah, that was good.
And we brought in some, people, some male leaders to give in their thoughts.
BSO did an episode on that like a week or two after we dropped ours.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, we texted JP like, dude, if you want to copy us,
just tell us. Just kidding. And then my other favorite episode was, I think, the anxiety and peace, just because that, do you have to have peace or, in order to marry someone?
Yeah. Or is this God's voice saying no? Yeah. Or is this me and just my baggage?
Because I think we heard just a lot of feedback from that episode from couples where that was super, super helpful and something they're relevantly actually going through.
Totally.
So today we're going through rapid fire hot takes, all of the remaining hot takes that you guys sent in on Facebook and on Instagram. There's a lot of them here. We're going to go through as many as we can, from trauma, interracial marriage, friendationships, modesty, being stuck on an ex. We're going to try to get through as many as we can. But really quick, we have just a few announcements.
Dallas.
So for those of y'all that did miss the announcement, HODC 2025 in Dallas.
What day?
February 14th and 15th.
Wait, isn't that a special day?
February 14th.
Wait, so we're not going on a Valentine's Day?
National Single Awareness Day.
But what about our Valentine's date?
You and I will do that another day.
Babe, that's Valentine's Day.
Our Valentine's Day is with our people.
I know.
What could be better? You guys, we can't wait. We have so many HODers in Texas. We have the most epic church partner, which we have not announced yet. We're super excited to. And this is going to be a conference truly unlike ever before. It's going to be a build your own conference. So there's going to be multiple different elements because we have tons of space, and you're going to get to select which things you want to go to.
Yeah, it's
going to be super fun.
Build your own friendship bracelet class.
Okay.
There's a golf.
Not that. But there is like live podcasts, potentially some dancing, obviously some workshops, and of course some main sessions. But it's going to be really fun and interactive.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
And so save the date, February 14th and 15th. Tickets will come on sale in early October. So we can't wait. Last announcement is that our next School of Dating cohort is about to begin the second week of October. And so you can actually sign up right now. If you're listening to this podcast, you can go on the website. There's a special first dibs discount. Surprise, surprise. And then you can sign up through the weekend. And so we're so excited for this class. We're bringing in some new guest speakers, including Joy and Matthew, who did that episode with us.
Is that confirmed?
Yes.
Wow. Very cool.
Relationships. So it's going to be so good.
Let's go.
You can go to joinschoolofdating.com to check out all the details for School of Dating. All right. So let's get into it, babe.
All right. So rapid fire, what does that mean? Only one of us goes? And if we agree,
it's just, let's give ourselves a timer. How about that?
Okay.
Where we can do 3 minutes per hot take.
Oh, that's great.
Is that good?
Yeah.
3 minutes?
I mean, that's enough? For you, not me, right?
No. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go. First hot take.
Okay.
Is about trauma. And this person's hot take is, you shouldn't date after trauma if you haven't had professional help. JJ, what do you think?
Yeah. Listen, let's just start with an assumption. We've all been through trauma.
Yes. And this is what you go through in School of Dating.
And
That
that's-
some people think they haven't been through anything.
Yeah. And so that's a hot take in itself for a lot of people. We've all been through trauma. Now, we call it big T trauma and small T trauma.
Little T.
Right. Exactly. Now, that is obviously different. Being molested at the age of 10 versus being maybe emotionally abused, like it's just different levels of trauma. Now, they're both a big deal. So number
They
one,
both impact you.
right.
Yeah.
So we've all gone through trauma, and it all affects us. I've been going through coaching and counseling recently, and there is trauma that I even know that was trauma or what I would qualify. And what's crazy is I had no idea what kind of effect it had on me as an adult and how I showed up in
Yeah.
relationships. And so that is something I actually wish I would have tackled before I got married. It just hasn't maybe proliferated until marriage.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff that just maybe doesn't really come up till you get into marriage or a deep
Yeah.
relationship.
So I don't think that I wouldn't say this I wouldn't necessarily agree with this hot take per se, because I think everybody needs some kind of professional help, to be honest with you. But I think it depends on how big the trauma is and how much they have worked through it. And yes or no, like, have they worked through anything or have they worked through nothing? Like, if it's a person who has never gone to therapy, is completely closed off to emotional help in any sense, and healing, then that is a big red flag. And I would say that person is not
Especially
helping to date.
recent trauma
But recent trauma
that's
or
deeply affecting them today.
recent trauma or trauma that they just realize is a big trauma.
Yeah.
If that's just coming up and they're diving into it, that's probably not the best time for them to date.
Yeah. But like, say the trauma that you've been through and that you talk about in your book and your experience, you went through years of healing.
Yes. Mhm.
And if you hadn't, that would have been a very, very difficult position you're putting yourself into.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Basically, what I would agree with this person on is I think no matter who you are, no matter how seemingly perfect your childhood was, I think most people, if not everybody, should seek some sort of mental health and some professional help.
And what you could also call that is just like spiritual formation, guidance, healing, and maturing as a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus calls us to be perfect as I was perfect. And he obviously doesn't mean perfect in everything. He actually, the word right there means to be mature.
Yeah.
He calls you to be mature.
Yeah. And I would say, though, if you're dating somebody and you see that they are still working through things or still getting help, that doesn't mean they're necessarily unfit to date. Like, stuff between JJ and I still came up,
Totally.
even though I had worked on things for years and years and years.
Yeah. We always say you're never perfectly ready, but sometimes you're definitely more ready than not.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
a good
That
way to
was
end it.
2 seconds remaining.
Yeah, very good.
Very good.
All right, I'll ask you the next one. Interracial marriage. So interracial marriage and different socioeconomic backgrounds.
Okay. So now that we're talking about interracial marriage and we're talking about cultural differences in relationships. So interracial relationships as well as culturally different relationships and backgrounds. Now, the thing is here, I don't know what the hot take is because the person didn't ask a hot take, but the hot take is, what do you do in those situations? Or should you not marry someone with a different cultural background? Should you not marry someone with a different racial background? I don't know. I would say, yes, you can definitely marry people with different backgrounds.
Yeah, if you're looking for permission, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Now, is it something to consider?
It's definitely something to consider, but it's the same as that, like, I have more trauma than you have in the past, potentially.
Yeah, I think it's more important, like, take two starkly different cultures, take a Japanese culture and then take a Nigerian culture. Those are very different. They actually, ironically, they both deeply believe in honor.
Yeah.
But the way conflict is handled and how you speak to one another is so different.
So I did look up just what are some cross-cultural and interracial marriage things that come up in relationships that affect dating and relationships. One is values and lifestyle. That makes sense. Their lifestyle, the things they value. This is based on how they're with their family of origin.
Yeah.
What they experience in their culture.
How you treat money, what you spend money on.
Right.
You know, how you handle work.
Are you independent from your family, or do you take care of your family?
Right. And here's a good example. An American lifestyle is very entrepreneurial. It's very focused on lifestyle and wealth.
Yeah.
There might be another culture, like a Japanese culture, for example, is not that way, right? It's highly private. You don't talk about salary. Like money is kind of just not talked about at all.
Yeah.
You work. And that entrepreneurial spirit and risk taking is maybe Norway's very much that way. So that does impact communication style. Might be the most important one.
Yeah, so that's another one.
Nika and Emeka are best friends. He's Nigerian and she's Filipino.
Yeah, the way you approach conflict and communicate in conflict is very different. Emeka's style is a little more like, let's figure this out, like that Godzilla energy.
Totally.
Let's figure this out. Even raised voices might seem normal, but then for Nika, with her background, that's very intimidating and very scary and not normal in her cultural background.
Nigerians will Godzilla each other out and then hug each other and say, I love you. I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Right.
And a Filipino, would experience that and be like, we hate each other. This is the worst.
Our friendship, our relationship is over.
That was 9/11.
Yes, exactly. Another element is just family expectations. This is a big one. I hear a lot from people that have a background in the Asian culture, specifically, like East Asia, because this is a big deal. There's a lot of expectations from your family on who you should marry, who you maybe like, and what they should be like, what salary they should have, what education they should have. There's so many expectations.
Yeah, or Latino cultures. Here's a great example. They don't have nursing homes in Latin cultures. They move in with you. You take care of them. They move into your house in your elderly years and you take care of them.
Yes.
So that would be a huge, tons of opportunities for conflict and clashing with a cross-cultural marriage.
Actually, we just watched Love is Blind UK, and it was interesting because one of the girls, like the mom came in, and I think they were Filipino, and she's like, I'm involved in my daughter's dating life. I need to know everything.
You're marrying both of them.
Yeah. Like in that one scene or those few scenes.
And you're Canadian. I mean, your parents were pretty hands-off, like very Canadian in that sense.
Yeah.
Like as long as you're happy, that's your decision.
Oh, good. Yeah. Like very
I know,
hands-off.
Very passive.
But that's also more Western, in general.
Yeah. Depending on the family.
Yeah. Like it's way more even, a Western culture is way more hands-off, way more individualistic.
I'll be honest though, if Eleanor comes home with a guy I don't like and don't approve and is not treating her well.
We're definitely saying something there.
I just can't imagine saying, if this is what makes you happy.
No.
I would be like sabotaging that relationship, planning, evidence of cheating. Oh man, I would destroy that thing.
Okay. Hey, we went over our 3 minutes, but that's okay. That one's a bit more complex.
What's up, fam? This episode is sponsored by Armra. That is the colostrum nutritional supplement that you already know we love in the Tomlin household. We've actually been on the road and I forgot to pack it. And boy, did I notice a difference in the way that I was sleeping, recovering, and just feeling. I felt so lethargic without it in my day-to-day diet. So I'm happy to be back in my routine. I love to just pour it in my coffee. I actually like to take electrolytes in the morning. So I take my creatine, my electrolytes, and I just do my Armra with that as well. And it is amazing. I notice it in my gut health and my skin and my body, especially if I've been pushing myself in the gym. I feel it in my recovery process. That's my favorite aspect of using Armra. So if you guys are interested, I'm always down to try new things. If that's you with Armra and colostrum, it's one of those things that you've been putting off, just go ahead and go to tryarmra.com. That's TRYARMRA.com and /HOD, and that will get you 15% off.
Let's go to the next hot topic.
Friendationships.
Yes, JJ. So this is just a hot topic in general about, friendationships and the sin in situationships. Are situationships, friendationships sinful? That's my question.
I don't know about sinful. That's quite a label on it. I just think if you want a healthy relationship with people, your brothers and sisters in Christ, and with God, having a zero tolerance for friendationships would be the best way to live your life. It would be the wisest way to live your life.
Well, I say they are sinful, 100%, because you are not being honest with somebody. I don't believe that's very good. You are potentially leading somebody on, even if you don't have intention to be with them. And I think that comes from a deep-rooted sense of wanting validation. And it could be based out of insecurity, but I don't think it's right to lead somebody on without clarifying your feelings for them, or if you have any intention. A lot of times, friendationships, there is no intention of this going anywhere, but I'm going to flirt with you. I'm going to expect things of you. I'm going to confuse you. And it's mainly for my own personal gain.
Okay, you're talking about it from the sense of leading a friendationship. I was talking about it in the sense of having a huge crush on someone and not doing anything about it.
Well, I think that can also be, I don't know about the word
I think that's
sinful.
different. Exactly. That's different. But
I
what
think
you
it's-
said, yeah, you're kind of living a life of deceit and using someone for personal gain.
Yes.
Totally. I totally agree.
But a lot of people justify and say, well, I'm just friendly. I'm just friendly.
I know. And they either have to have a deep conviction, or what really usually happens is someone they respect and admire has to tell them, dude, this is totally wrong.
Yeah, like you're confusing this person.
Yeah, like this is not okay.
And the way you get this out, by the way, we'll probably do a whole episode on this, but the way you really clarify a friendationship is you make sure that if there's any question mark at any point in time, you think this person likes you or you maybe have feelings for them, you have to say it out in the open.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I believe you are sitting in this relationship.
Now, here's a hot take to close on. I think that friendationships probably make up 90% of young adult communities.
Yes,
You agree?
I agree.
That's a high number.
I would say they're a large majority. Don't know about 90%, but yeah,
Like,
large majority.
The majority of the people in that group have some kind of feelings towards someone.
Yes, that are not being said.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, and it makes sense. You're single, they love Jesus, you love Jesus, and you're somewhat attracted to them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So my next question, next hot take
Yeah.
is about modesty.
Uh-huh.
So JJ, how should a man approach his girlfriend when she chooses clothes that are provocative or revealing?
Dude, I just saw a great TikTok on this the other day. And
It's not a great TikTok.
well, this girl was wearing a very skimpy outfit. I mean, I don't go out on Broadway in Nashville, but I see pictures or people or whatever. And I'm like, this is crazy. What's being worn. It's basically a swimsuit top, like these crop tops. Crop tops are in. How should a man approach their girlfriend when she chooses to? I would hope the girl you choose to date, this is not a conversation you have to have, because that means you probably chose someone who's pretty immature as far as how they choose to dress themselves.
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, you wore a sports tank and leggings this morning to the gym. That would be viewed as, depending on the person, not modest.
But I think modesty also has context of like where you're going. If I'm going to a beach, I'm going to wear a bathing suit. Now,
Totally.
Am I wearing a thong bathing suit? Like,
exactly.
Like,
So
I'm
even
going to wear a bathing suit.
Yeah.
So going to the gym, I'm going to wear gym athletic clothes.
Again, but if we were dating and you wore a string bikini, to the beach, I would be like, what is going on here? And so obviously how you have that conversation, how should a man approach, I guess this is the question, with so much delicacy, so much wisdom, and more importantly, I would not have it by herself. I would have a female who's older than her talk to her that she trusts and admires. That's probably going to be your best case scenario. You want to be loving, and you want to be, more importantly, you want to be successful, not right.
Okay. What about this hot take within this hot take? Should a guy date a girl who he feels is dressing revealing in general?
I mean, that revealing is like it's on a spectrum.
Right.
I would just say be cautious about a woman who's just dressing for every guy to feast upon her body.
Let me tell you this. Look at her Instagram. What kind of photos is she posting?
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
Is it every photo of a tight fitting, here's my butt cheeks, here's my this, that, and the other kind of vibe? Because I'm just going to say, a lot of times, and I have compassion, this has to do with an internal desire of the female needing validation, and actually from a deep insecurity.
And guys too. I see it vice versa. I see more guys posting thirst traps these days and anywhere.
That's a thirst trap. So
I know.
Like, if they're a thirst trapper, I would, I have compassion for people who post thirst traps all the time. I really, really do, especially the younger generation.
I know. We sat behind
It's
this girl on a train one time in England, and we literally watched her for 2.5 hours edit one photo that she was about to post on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it was probably the
With
saddest
Facetune. It was horrible.
thing I've ever seen in my
was
life.
Very sad.
So instead of judging her for that and what we saw, I just have so much compassion and sadness.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and the question is, would you date? Should you date?
No, I would. I mean, if I
take
knew,
is no,
yeah,
no,
because that's an image issue.
Mm-hmm.
That's a self-image issue and how you view yourself and where you're looking. And when you have that kind of issue, you're going to be looking everywhere except to God for the validation and fulfillment.
Yeah.
And that's going to be someone who's just looking to you for, if they have that kind of expectation on you, man, you have to be God for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next one. That was maybe 4 minutes. Stuck on an ex. Oof. I love this one. Kate?
Well, there's no question with it. Someone just put in the question box, stuck on an X.
Let me invent one.
Hot take?
Okay, Kate. Going out. I've been dating this guy or girl for a couple months. Really love them. I just sense and feel that the way they talk about their ex, they're just maybe not quite over them. Mm-hmm. It's not egregious, but I can definitely tell that there's maybe some leftover resentment or anger or hurt from their ex.
Yeah, I would definitely say that person may not actually be ready to date. I really believe in you need to be there's always a question of how do you know you're ready to date? And one thing, we have a free guide for this. And if you're watching YouTube, we'll put the free guide up on the screen on how to know you're ready to date. But how do you know you're ready to date? One of the questions is, are you constantly still thinking about your ex, or does the thought of seeing them or actually seeing them completely trigger you? Do you have a full body visceral reaction when you see that person? Because that would indicate to me there's still trauma in your body from this person, and you need to work through that.
Yeah, there's still hatred, there's still pain.
And if you are consistently thinking them like on loop and repeat, then that's also another signal. And if you're now trying to get back into the dating scene and you're finding yourself comparing every person that you're on a date with to your ex, to the good things about your ex, then that is another indication you're not quite over your ex. So I would say, is the hot take maybe don't date someone who's stuck on their ex? Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, out of wisdom, I had to walk away from a girl I really liked. We had been dating for a month and a half, and it was so clear once she told me what kind of happened and she was breaking down. That was really hard, but I had to walk away, even though I still really liked her and wanted it to work out. I had to walk away, and that was the best decision for her.
Yes.
And for me, but for her especially. Now, obviously, how you communicate that is very difficult and precarious. But yeah, out of wisdom, sometimes you have to make that call for them. And I've had women walk away from me because I wasn't ready to date.
Yep.
And it was the best thing for both of us. Next.
Okay, my next question for you is, this one's kind of random in my opinion, but prenups. What do we think about prenups? Are prenups totally fine as a Christian?
Well, because I got stacks on stacks and racks on racks, I considered asking you.
Yeah. You did.
No, prenups are bizarre. Maybe we're just not around with people with enough money, like, billionaire status money. Or family money.
I don't feel fully equipped to speak to this one because, we don't know enough people that maybe have large amounts, billionaires or family money.
Yeah, but let's just be simple. Without knowing them, I would absolutely be totally thrown off by a prenup. Basically, it's just suggesting that I'm not totally sure that this is for life, and I'm also not totally convinced and willing to go all in, because it is a safety net. It is a backdoor to protect what's most important to you, which is your money.
Yeah.
And you're basically saying, and I'm sure there's context and reasons, but you're basically saying, just in case you or me want to call it quits at any point, I'm just installing this. And I get it. what if they commit,
the thing is that
adultery?
I don't know. Here's my other thing. When, as a Christian, okay, and maybe I'm going to sound so extreme saying this, but finances rule people in ways they shouldn't. I'm still guilty of this. Finances can be a trouble thing between us sometimes. Like finances are really, really tough, right? For many people. What? Money is tough for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, it's funny to hear you say it.
Okay.
And
the thing about it is, though, in the kingdom, money doesn't matter really at the end of the day. Okay. Yeah. At the end of the day, on your tombstone, nobody's going to write, Kate was amazing. She was a billionaire and had so much money.
Well, and the Bible also says it's the love of money, not money, the love of money.
Right. And so even if, let's say you are a millionaire or gazillionaire, and you are going to marry someone, even if they went crazy and did a 180 and took all of your money, would that really matter in the grand scheme of the kingdom of God?
Of eternity, no. And more importantly,
it wouldn't. So that's why I'm like, I don't know about prenups.
Yeah. My last hot take on that is, in marriage, you really break vows all the time. Mm-hmm. So whether it's cheating or it's a small vow, I think you break vows all the time.
Yeah.
So I actually went into marriage with you, even to the point if you cheat on me, if you abuse me, all these things, there obviously is context. And if you cheat on me 10 times and walking away, especially as you introduce kids into the equation and what's best for them. But I'm at the point in my marriage with you and my covenant with you that, hey, if you cheated on me, I'm absolutely staying and at least reconciling. Like there is no
or trying to reconcile
quick trigger. I'm out of here. I'm doing everything in my possible power to make it work. Mm-hmm. And because that's what a covenant is. And that's what we have with God. We walk away from him all the time. In small ways or big ways. Mm-hmm. And yet his covenant agreement is that he's always there, always faithful. And that's what we're committing to.
In marriage,
and we've totally lost the sacredness and just grandness of what a covenant actually means.
That's true, babe. Wow. Deep. Okay. Here's your next one.
Okay.
So the next one is about friends, family, and social expectations. So for those in your life around you that are against dating apps or just dating in general, or this is a good one, they constantly want to be updated about your love life, and they want to know all the information. Do you have to listen to your, let's say, family, okay, when they say don't do online dating? Like, is it required for you to share your love life with them? Do you need permission from them to marry that person? And if they say, I don't want you to do online dating, do you have to follow that?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, to put it simple, to honor your father and mother is a big deal. But what it really means, and what the Bible means, that word honor means to give weight to their opinion, especially if they have a life that commands authority.
Yes. That's a big part of it.
Right. So number one, you're not called to obey mom and dad once you're 18, you're an adult. Okay. You're a big boy. You're a big girl. Okay. So whatever they say, depending on the life that they live, do they have weight? And, my dad, in our marriage wasn't gung-ho about it. He wasn't crazy about it. And he gave his opinion. And I said, thank you. I will consider it and I will give weight to it.
Kate's too old. You shouldn't marry her. She can't bear you children.
Yeah, that's what it was. And so I gave weight to the opinion. Yeah. I didn't obey it or disobey it. I just thought about it. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing.
But you didn't, in the end, you still made your own decision, which was to marry me.
Yeah. And on top of that, my relationship with my dad is not amazing. I don't really have a ton of respect for how he lives his life and what I view how a life should be lived. Mm-hmm. And so he doesn't really command a ton of authority over my life versus, man, you take a guy like, we reference JP a lot. If he was my dad, he's living a life that commands authority, like his witness, his testimony, and how he runs his life, his actions. If he says something like, you shouldn't do dating apps, well, I'm going to really think about that. Right. It's not obey or disobey, but I'm going to give a heavy weight to his opinion.
As your father. Yes. Right. Yeah, totally. So, and then in terms of, the question about your dating life, like, please, yes, you can establish and you should establish boundaries with people if you are uncomfortable sharing information with them.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you set a boundary, you are the keeper of that boundary. You can't expect them to respect your boundary if it's an unhealthy person. So if you set a boundary, I don't want to talk about this, and they still press in the next day or the next time you see them, you need to continue to keep that boundary, because if you cross the boundary, it's not their fault. It's actually your fault for not upholding the boundary that you set.
Totally.
All right, our final hot take. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. I think a common hot take is that singles don't like hanging out with marrieds. What do you think about that?
What do you think?
I think it depends, but I think that singles need to want to hang out with marrieds if they don't. I think sometimes singles have a hard time hanging out with marrieds because then they are around the very thing that they really desire, which is maybe a person that this other person that you love has in their life. They have a significant other, and especially if they have a family. And so you're then surrounded by two things. You're seeing that they have a partner and a family, two things that you deeply desire. And so sometimes that can be difficult, and maybe they don't want to be around that because it's just a constant reminder for them of what they don't have.
Yeah, maybe.
I think though that needs to shift. I think we need to shift and surrender that desire to the Lord consistently, because it's the same thing of like, you can't celebrate your friend who's getting engaged. I understand there can be some grief there, but we have to learn to process it and not get stuck in it. Because I think actually, in fact, one of the best things that singles can do is hang out with healthy, kingdom-minded married.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. If you can't hang around marrieds because of the pain it's causing you or frustration, I get it. This is not shaming you, but that is absolutely something that you have to get over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you should be able to hang around marrieds. And I would say for the marrieds, I mean, obviously we don't have them listening to the podcast, but you know, when I worked at Amazon, we would go out for happy hours or for dinner or would have parties on the weekend. And we had a tendency to only talk about work and Amazon. And so when spouses or friends would come, it was pretty annoying. It was alienating because all we talked about was work. It's the same thing for marrieds. You know, if you have singles around you or parenting, I get it's a huge part of your life. And so it's not saying it's not. It's just saying, hey, maybe try to include other people in the conversations that you're having and have different conversations that are not just only about marriage and parenting. Like there's other stuff about life that you enjoy that they can also relate to. I'm super conscious of that. If I'm in a group, I really want everyone to feel included in that sense.
Yeah, that's so good. So I think that singles, if you don't like hanging out with marrieds, figure out a way to like hanging out with marrieds, and make sure that you put yourself out there and let the marrieds know that you want to hang out with them.
Totally.
Because sometimes they just don't know. We've said this before. Sometimes they don't know. They feel awkward. They don't want you to feel weird hanging around them and make you feel like what I just said, that you get to be around this thing that you don't have, and it's just constantly rubbing it in your face.
Totally.
So they might be hesitant. So make sure that they know that you still want to hang around them.
Yeah, you both need each other. Marrieds need to be around singles, and singles need to be around marrieds.
Yeah. All right, JJ, any last hot takes?
Yeah, voice memos over 2 minutes need to be banned for my message, and or add in like a fast forward, a 1.5, 2x option.
iMessage needs that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I listen to my podcast at like 1.5, 1.75x. So we need that one. What?
That is crazy.
Dude, I mean, I guarantee you some people listen to this at 2x. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm slow. I'm a slow guy. These words don't come out very fast. So at least for me, I wouldn't be surprised.
That is so funny.
What about you?
Let's see if I have another hot take.
I have another one.
Oh.
Guys who pee on toilet seats in public bathrooms need to be banned from public bathrooms. It sucks. It's probably the most frustrating thing.
You're saying you've never peed on a toilet seat?
No, I believe it or not, if I go into a public bathroom and they don't have urinals, it could be the grossest toilet ever. I will always lift the seat.
And you wash your hands after
that? I actually do after that because it's so gross. But I say I'm not going to contribute to this problem. It's my biggest number one hate when I go into a public bathroom and someone just sprayed all over the seat.
Thank you for that picture. Hot take, don't make sure you know their vices.
That's it?
No.
You don't have a fun one?
No, hot take. Don't get with somebody who's addicted to fantasy football.
Okay. Don't marry a Disney adult. That's way more expensive and time consuming. Kate's driving.
Time consuming?
Let me put it this way. Kate will not do road trips. She does not like long road trips. She's a little princess. She wants to fly everywhere. I get it. I get it. She is about to, you're considering it. Drive 11 hours to Orlando, Florida, so you can have an extra day to go to Disney and drive 11 hours back. That's 22 hours.
Beautiful.
22 hours of driving. So are you going to sleep in your car Saturday night so you can make it work?
No.
So you're going to spend more money.
I'm doing it for the sake of our finances.
That is crazy. No. You're doing it for the sake of your personal finance and fun money so you can afford to go to Disney.
No, actually.
But okay, babe, come on, be honest.
It's for our finances jointly.
It is ours, but it's also, let me put it this way. If you flew, could you go to Disney?
No, the flight, it would not be coming out of my fund money.
Okay.
So I'm doing this for the sake of the bottom line of our bank account.
But if you flew, could you go to Disney?
Sure.
Would you go to Disney?
I would use my fund money for it still.
So why aren't you doing that?
Because I think that for the sake of our bottom line of our bank account, the flights are just really expensive.
Yeah. And it would be too much.
Yeah. But Disney is not too
But
much.
you could fly and not go to Disney and it would be affordable.
To us recently, and I wasn't able to go to Disney. And so this is my redemption.
Yeah, that's true. I thought Paris and everything was.
Well, that was before.
Okay, you're right. Okay. All right. What's your other hot take to close on?
I think don't marry someone obsessed with fantasy football.
What about here's a good one. Shoes are never allowed to be worn in the house.
Oh yeah, never. That's so
ever.
Why would you? Okay, think about where you walk. You walk on dog poopy.
I don't walk on dog poop
all the time. It's on the sidewalk. It's on the ground. You walk on tar. You walk on people that spit. You walk on so much stuff every single day. Disgusting things. Let me finish. Okay. Disgusting things. And then you're going to let yourself walk into your home on your beautiful floors with all that doo-doo that is on your shoes.
Yes.
There's germs from those things on your shoes.
Hey, I agree. But what about if I have to run inside and grab my wallet?
No, okay, then you better be mopping. Okay,
so here's my question then. You have never walked inside with your shoes on?
That's not true. I have.
So.
But I'm saying that's in a dire situation. And I do mop and clean the floor consistently.
Okay, I'm just saying.
That's a hot take. Don't use the gym and not wash your hands after. JJ in the car this morning, I'm outing him. Literally, Eleanor's doing this cute little thing and where she goes, blah, 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 and we do this thing with her lips.
You put your finger over her lips.
I'm in the front seat driving. I hear JJ doing it with her in the back. And that means his finger is basically in her mouth. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we were just at the gym. Did you wash your hands? He was like, silence. And so he didn't wash his hand before you put it in her mouth.
Okay, but your phone, is more dirty than the gym, I would say.
No.
Oh, I guarantee you it is. My favorite stat.
That there's more germs on a phone than a toilet seat.
7 times more germs on a phone than your toilet seat.
Okay. Anyway, you guys get to see some of our hot takes. Love you, babe.
Love you too.
Thank you for joining us this season, guys. We're so excited for next season, and we'll see you later.
Love you guys.
Bye. The Heart of Dating podcast is created by Kate and JJ Tomlin. Shout out to our epic audio and video editor, Scott Caro. We have an amazing Heart of Dating team who helps bring the show to you each week. I want to shout out Kelsey Napier, our Heart of Dating digital marketing coordinator, and Elena Gibson, our brand and community manager. We couldn't do it without them. Now, if you guys have never ranked us or reviewed us on iTunes or Spotify, would you consider doing that? It would mean so much because our podcast can get more discovered and more people can learn how to better date as Christians. Don't we all want that? We launch our podcast each and every week on Wednesdays, so we will see you next week.